up, guys? It's your boy Alex, and we are back with another reaction video once again. And today, it's another special requested Gilbert Gottfried video that actually was requested by my good friend Mal, who's been really making some good suggestions for reaction videos that I'm trying to get to. Today, we're actually taking a look at another YouTuber that I've never really heard of. I can't really pronounce the name of their YouTube channel, but the series they have been doing is something called Character Chronicles. So this is just me assuming that like it's probably a list of like the evolutionary times of like a character, or like all the different stuff they've gone through in their like development, and you know, just that kind of thing. And seeing as how it is Gilbert Gottfried, we are going to take a look at one of his best characters that has gone through a huge change in his life. That, of course, being Iago from the hit movie franchise, well, semi-hit movie franchise, Aladdin. And also the cartoon TV series. But anyway, let's not waste any time and jump right in. Alright, so like I said at the beginning, this is another YouTuber I haven't really seen much of lately, so this will be kind of another blind reaction to see how this goes. But again, if it's like one other YouTuber that I watched, I don't know, maybe it'll be the same. Anyway, with that being said, let's dive right into the Character Chronicles of Iago. So, starting the video in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Also, the last person I watched that did like a character evolution, I believe he was also, I believe he was British. So I think this guy is also British too. I could be wrong. But anyway, let's get to it.
The genie in Disney's Aladdin is one of the most popular and...
It's kind of looking like the bowler hat guy from Meet the Robinsons.
I'd be lying if I said that as a child I didn't find his countless
that just happened.
Films and celebrities I had never heard of amusing. There was another character who made his debut in 1992 that not only made me a very keen viewer of Aladdin sequels, but is, in all honesty, my favourite character from anything ever. The loud, feathery, and full of frustration, Iago.
Okay, so there was some random, like, freezing up there. Hopefully that doesn't happen for the rest of the video. I guess they're also going to talk about Kingdom Hearts.
One of the few minor Disney characters to have an arc spread across 3 movies and a TV series in between.
Look at this! Look at this! I'm so ticked off that I'm molting!
I'm molting!
Aladdin, he is the henchman to the villain Jafar, and in the film sequel, Return of Jafar, he turns against his twisted boss and joins the protagonists, at first just to take advantage of their privileged lifestyle, but when given the choice of saving his new friends or former ally, he actually kills Jafar. Inadvertently.
An ugly specimen, but he may be worth a shekel or 2.
He isn't worth anything!
Would you care to rephrase that?
Iago's personality is that of a constant complainer, sarcastic, and quite devious, not only while helping a sorcerer try to take over the world, but also when he supposedly reforms, where he shifts his attention from power and revenge to a lust for riches. Said revenge is directed at the Sultan of Agrabah, whom Jafar works for as an advisor. Not because the Sultan is ruthless, but because, being a well-meaning big softy, he insists on feeding Iago crackers, which turns the psychopathic parrot red. Though why Iago doesn't just fly away from the Sultan's reach is a question that guy from Boston...
Guessing Iago wasn't that really smart back then. Or there's that.
Rash antagonists in a row, Jafar was a return to the more sinister Disney villains, and he could easily be described as a male Maleficent, complete with a bird. Though unlike that crow, Iago is one of the brashest henchmen of all time, while still being fairly smart and competent at his job, especially when compared with Jasper and Horace, LeFou, and even Sir Hiss, who, although was seemingly sophisticated, was quite the upper-class twit. Iago not only steals the genie's lamp, allowing Jafar's brief terror to unfold, but also gives Jafar his plan to seize power by marrying Jasmine. Mind you, it would have been smarter if he had advised the advisor to hypnotize the princess, as he had done with her father. Then again, that plot hole was sort of resolved in the sequel, where we see, even chained up against a wall, Jasmine is wise enough not to look into the glowing eyes of a...
Yeah, she's like looking right at it, and yet that didn't work.
Get a grip! Good grip.
The species of parrot Iago belongs to is uncertain, especially as there are none with very apparent teeth. Unless Bush and Blair blew them up.
Oh,
Widely assumed.
wow. Yeah, that is kind of weird. I don't think most people, when they saw the original Aladdin, questioned the fact of what Iago was, or what his species was supposed to be. Had to clear my throat. Almost had a high-pitched voice there for a second.
That type of bird is a lot taller than Iago, a lot more colourful, and native to South America, not Agrabah Stan.
Well, that's it. We're dead. Forget it. Just dig a grave for both of us. We're dead.
Since the series' other main animals, Abu and Raja, can't talk, at least not phonetically, and as his companion was a sorcerer,
speaks gibberish.
this has led to fan speculation that Iago, like Archimedes, was enchanted with the ability of human speech.
I mean,
also, Jafar
that could be a possibility.
Emotions, so to allow himself to remain focused on plotting to overthrow the Sultan. But more about that pile of overreaching bollocks later. All that is for sure about Iago's past, that is canon in the Aladdin series, is that Jafar bought the parrot at a street market.
There's no justice.
In the original template for Disney's Aladdin, Iago was intended
Oh yeah, one of the original drafts for Aladdin before the finished product.
British tit, while Jafar was going to be the volatile one. But after major script changes, thanks to the future co-writers of Shrek and the Pirates of the Caribbean saga, the roles were pretty much reversed, and that's when the producers made the most glorious decision of all. They gave the role to the one, the only, Gilbert Vito? Yes, apparently Iago was supposed to fill, but luckily Danny wasn't available, and it took another 5 years before he would join the Disneyverse. Unless you count the couple of Touchstone films he appeared in.
The lamp is the key.
I must say, though, we do have a bit of a problem.
What are we gonna do? We got a big problem here. A big...
Yes.
As entertaining as the character's concept is, there's no question that he'd be nothing without the iconic voice which accompanies him. And that is fired from the mouth of Gilbert Gottfried.
To think we gotta keep kissing up to that chump and his chump daughter. You got a problem, Pinky?
Gilbert has been a stand-up comedian for practically his whole life.
He was a
starting
funny
in his
man.
Teens, and after appearing in many critically despised TV shows and films...
I happen to like the Problem Child movies. Well, I mean, the first two mostly. The third one,
His trademark voice can be found in Thumbelina, The Fairly Odd Parents, Cyber Chase, and the latest revival of the Teenage
Oh yeah,
Mutant Ninja
he did
Turtles.
voice one of the Krangs in later years.
He goes, honey, pack your bags. I just won the lottery. And she goes, what should I pack? He goes, I don't care. Just pack and get the fuck out.
Despite appearing in many family films, Gilbert is known for making very crude, politically incorrect jokes, which have gotten him in a lot of trouble and acclaim in the past 25 years. He caused outrage by joking about masturbation while presenting at the Emmys award show.
Masturbation.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I think it's safe to say that, like, Gilbert Gottfried got a little too raunchy with his comedic stand-up. Though it did give us a really great guest spot for him on Angry Video Game Nerd. That might be my favorite AVGN, like, just guest spot review. Because I want to see the behind-the-scenes stuff of, like, how much fun and how much laughing Gil did with reading through James's script. Like, he probably had a blast just saying a lot of that stuff on the script. Oh my god.
Days after the September 11th attack, he almost ruined his career by joking.
I'm just gonna scooch over just a little bit.
I have to catch a flight to LA. I couldn't get a direct flight. We had to make a stop at the Empire State Building.
But then saved his career by telling the infamous aristocrats joke.
You white motherfuckers!
Wow!
Caused controversy again by making several jokes via Twitter at the expense of the 2012 tsunami that struck Japan, which cost him his lucrative role as an insurance recommending duck.
Wow!
Pigs are in a hot tub! All of a sudden, a big blob of sea
God.
floats to the top. One pig turns to the other and says, "All right, who farted?"
Gilbert's style of saying dogs
All right, who farted?
often true observations have led him to make fun of Aladdin over the years, and on more than one occasion on the Howard Stern show, he pointed out
yeah,
how
Howard
the
Stern.
obnoxious and money-hungry parrot is nothing more than a stereotypical
gosh.
Jew.
Watch out,
Wow.
But enough about this short, loud, bitter, but hilarious individual. Let's get back to Iago. As I mentioned,
Alright, back to more Iago stuff.
Jafar enchanted Iago with all his negative emotions, so to allow him to be free from distraction, I guess. That holds no water for me for two reasons.
Can't think of them?
One, Jafar clearly still has pent-up rage and shows signs of being a complete nutter. And two, if you were going to turn someone into a bad-tempered wreck, why would you choose someone who spends most of their time perched on your shoulder?
Oh, this is attractive.
Iago was designed
Clearly
by
not.
artist Will Finn, who the previous year had helped bring Cogsworth to life, a character Iago's original character concept had been very close to. 3 other animators worked on the character during different scenes, and it should
Oh, he just had like multiple artists work on him. Okay, that's interesting.
To conclude the decisions that went into creating the character of Iago, the production team realised that if a superpowered Robin Williams was going to take over the middle of the movie, then there needed to be something to supply a sort of crazy haze throughout the film's first half. And thus Gilbert Gottfried as an angry parrot was born.
This is going to hurt.
He and Jafar first appear cloaked in darkness, awaiting the man who has fetched a thing they need to access a thing.
Huh? Cave of Wonders?
Part of the character's gimmick in the first film only is that whenever he and Jafar aren't alone, he acts and talks like a real parrot. Though if a toy scarab can come to life and pierce itself into the desert, creating a gigantic talking tiger's head out of sand, I should think excusing Iago as an exceedingly well-trained parrot would be understood as not that unusual.
Jeez,
Sorry, I got something in my nose.
The villains need someone to go down to the Cave of Wonders for some reason, though after meeting with the Sultan and hypnotizing his mystic blue diamond off him, Jafar reminds his feathery fireball that the throne shall soon be his. You could have had it now, Jafar. Give me the diamond.
I would say Jafar was
Second thoughts.
pretty dumb at that point.
Sultan and
Not really
Decay.
thinking of the best plans.
Iago supplies the power to Jafar's lightning conductor hourglass.
Yeah,
and
that
then
thing
a
was
few
never
scenes later supplies
explained.
the hump to his disguise.
Jafar, can you hurry up? I'm
I'm
dying.
dying in
A
here.
very convincing disguise, and kind of a pointless one, since Aladdin has never met Jafar, and if they'd gotten caught escaping, the guards would have likely just killed the old creep, since it doesn't resemble their commanding officer in the slightest.
Gosh, that smile always creeped me out when he did that.
Most of the few scenes he is in for the middle portion of the plot, he and Jafar have company, forcing him to keep stum. He does, however, gleefully suggest Jafar murder the royal family, which gave Gilbert Gottfried a chance to show off just how loud he can go.
Ooh.
When the protagonists learn that the blatantly evil man is a very naughty
Yep,
boy, unless
pretty
you've
much.
seen his point of view in Twisted, which doesn't feature Iago as his sidekick, so that awesome-tacular fan-made musical can go fuck itself. Jafar.
Hey, I happen to like Twisted.
Because that's totally not.
I don't know why my
first-place
voice got
Garfield.
scratchy there for a second.
And how about this picture? I don't know. I think I'm making a weird face in it.
I think after Robin Williams' ad-libbing shenanigans, Aladdin's producers just said,
Fuck it.
Jafar tells
Okay.
Iago to go steal Aladdin's lamp, and the bird accomplishes this mission by perfectly mimicking Princess Jasmine's voice,
Where are you?
Out in the menagerie, hurry.
and disguising himself as a flamingo. Iago's talent for impressions would be used a couple of times in the Aladdin TV series.
It is an extremely dangerous undertaking.
I'm assuming the gimmick was thrown in because he is a parrot after all, plus the idea of anyone with a voice like his suddenly drastically changing pitch is hilarious. Speaking of which, Gilbert Gottfried is actually a pretty decent impressionist.
Oh boy.
Can't go bowling with you, Ralph.
Do you know how important this night is, Norton? I mean, do you know how important this night is?
With Jafar's new superpowers,
That's actually not bad.
Iago not only gets some rather sadistic revenge on the Sultan, but also gets to wear a little white beanbag on his head.
Don't even know where he got that little Sultan hat, but okay.
Iago doesn't supply much help to his boss during the final battle, but in his defense, he was knocked unconscious. Twice.
Yeah, that did
And
happen.
their rule of terror is brought to an abrupt end when Jafar has himself turned into a genie and grabs a fleeing Iago with him as they are sucked into the lamp. And it only takes 10 seconds for the all-powerful Satan to realize that trapping himself in something as spacious as a pencil sharpener with an angry Gilbert Gottfried probably wasn't the wisest thing to do.
Oh, shut up, you moron!
And that's the end of that. But not for long.
2 years after the release of Aladdin,
Yeah, the
Disney
sequel that came
first
out.
direct-to-video sequel.
Now, I'm also thinking, and I could be wrong on this, but I also think the second movie was also supposed to be maybe the pilot episode that leads into the series? The Aladdin TV series that Disney had. Again, I could be wrong on that. But also I do believe that the third movie was supposed to be maybe like the final episode of the series. Again, I could be completely wrong about that. You guys can let me know in the comment section down below if I'm right or not. But anyway, we're just gonna move on from that and continue on because I'm assuming we're now going into the second movie, which surprisingly I never saw that much
The
of.
film was made by the same
All I knew about it
authors
was
as
like
the
it was
series,
Jafar coming
hence
back
why
for
the film
revenge.
ceased to split into 4 20-minute sections, with the animation gradually getting more low budget than a revolutionary horror film.
When there's no more room in hell, the dead.
Oh my
walk.
gosh.
Got sand in places I didn't even know I had.
Now a genie, Jafar cannot leave his lamp until someone rubs it, but Iago refuses to do so, realizing that his association with Jafar has caused him nothing but earache. Minus the ears.
That's it. I've had it. I hate to be.
Oh, yeah. I think I did hear this song once and I had it on Spotify. Honestly, I didn't know Gilbert Gottfried could sing. Impressive.
A whole new world can bugger off. This is Disney's best song ever. Okay, slightly overdid the praise there, but I do really like this song.
He's a pretty good singer, though, to be honest.
Only crazy, but I'd much rather listen to Gilbert Gottfried sing in tune than Russell Crowe warbling in supposedly one of the greatest musicals ever.
Some parts of Les Mis were still
Especially
good.
Iago's other song in this film, because it was rudely interrupted by Jasmine. Upstager, didn't she have enough songs to sing in the first movie?
She only had one song, though.
Wait, she only had one song.
Yeah.
Half of one. Whatever. Return of Jafar is really more Iago's story than Aladdin's, though they do share roughly the same amount of screen time. And neither could be upstaged by the genie, now voiced by Dan Castellaneta.
Yeah, it was at that point Robin Williams didn't come back for the sequel.
Wait, by saying that sarcastically, I just contradicted what I said earlier. Whoopsie daisy. Anyway, returning to Agrabah, Iago tries to convince Aladdin that he never really was on Jafar's side, but they are interrupted by Abyss Maul, a bumbling leader of a gang of thieves, voiced by Jason Alexander, who wants to hurt the young man for stealing their stolen stuff.
Yeah, they actually changed his voice for the TV series also. He was a recurring character in the series.
The fight, and inadvertently ends up saving Aladdin's life, which he of course claims to have been intentional. So Aladdin decides the least he could do is lock the parrot in a cage and ask the Sultan for forgiveness on his behalf. A chunk of Iago-less movie passes until Abu, who doesn't see the subtle nuances of Gilbert Gottfried's performance, sets Jasmine's tiger Raja on him. Al defies and angers both the Sultan and his girlfriend by insisting they don't have parrot for dinner.
That kid saved my life. Nobody's ever looked out for me before. Now it's like I owe him. Nah.
Under guidance from Homer Simpson, Iago helps Jasmine to forgive her thieving toy boy, and everything looks hunky-dory.
Okay.
Until... Jafar! Freed from the lamp by Abyss Maul, Jafar has come for revenge, but needs Iago to lead Al and the Sultan away from the palace, so Senior Psychopath can ambush them. Iago
pretty much
really wants to do it, but he also doesn't really want to be tortured for betraying his former ally.
You traitor! Traitor is such a strong word!
Since genies can't directly murder people, Jafar has Aladdin framed for the disappearance of the Sultan, so that he can be sentenced to death, and also chains up Al's...
You can see why the security in Agrabah is terrible.
Well, please, don't mention it.
Like with the first film, Iago is in the back seat again during the middle part of the plot, though for a final attempt at redemption, decides that the only way the good guys will win this time is if he saves the day.
I'm trying to free the chump genie so he can save your chump boyfriend!
Oh, and everybody's safe and sound.
Standing atop the palace's giant circular roof,
Yeah, I think it's safe to say they would not survive standing on there.
they were safer in the dungeon.
But again, it's cartoon logic, so it doesn't really have to make sense.
Plan a plan, Iago is all like,
Fuck this shit, Professor.
and buggers off. But buggers back again later, just as it seems all is lost. See what happens when your genie isn't voiced by Robin Williams?
Don't really think that would have helped them in the slightest.
Well, he's dead.
Fortunately, Jafar is so busy gloating he fails to realize leaving your life source around a pit of lava was another stupid move. Then again, they are in the Middle East, so maybe that's just piping hot oil. Agrabah and the protagonists are saved once again. Iago soon recovers from his electric shock treatment, meaning all's welly that ends willy.
I can't just stay in the palace. There's too much to do. Too much to see.
I'm going to see the world too.
Why do I keep getting hooked up with these warped people?
Promoting the TV series with a TV-made movie, eh? Not interested. Unless Gilbert Gottfried's going to reprise his role.
That's good, right?
Yeah, he came back.
The series began the same year Return of Jafar was released, and lasted for 86 episodes spread across 2 years. The scenarios revolve around the adventures of the main and supporting characters from the previous films, minus Jafar, encountering many magical, mechanical, and mythical beings.
Yeah.
Despite being engaged to the princess, the title character still wears his same ragged clothing and sleeps in the same dilapidated roof, which makes almost as much sense as the genie still wearing his gold wrist bracelets, which he was released from when Al freed him.
Oh, I get it. It's make the bird doubt his sanity day.
Yeah, pretty much Iago.
His role as the persistent pessimist varies like the quality of animation from episode to episode.
Shouldn't we just celebrate by running away?
I think it was definitely like for like maybe like the first few seasons they had the animation like really good, and then it got a downgrade in the later seasons.
In foul weather, the gang have Iago distract Thunderer, the ruler of the world's weather, while they steal.
I'm also assuming that these two characters also sort of shared a love relationship that went on for maybe like a couple episodes. I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched a lot of episodes of the original Aladdin series on Disney Channel when it was on. I only maybe had like a few episodes on VHS. So, yeah, there is that. So I'm just assuming that this bird character and Iago had a love relationship going on for a couple episodes and it didn't go too well.
Peacock-esque bird
Hold
who
on.
was undoubtedly furious.
There we go.
Especially with Iago.
Does she seem a smidge perturbed to you?
In Scare Necessities, a sickeningly cute koala-esque creature grants the wish of whoever scares it, which Iago is desperate to exploit.
What? You think I'm funny? Do I amuse you?
In Sand Switch,
Okay, that was quick.
Sadira uses her powers to change places with Jasmine. But the only one her spell hasn't affected are the animals, Abu, Iago, and Raja, who are the only ones who can save the day.
I think I speak for us all when I say, ah!
In Reign of Terror, Thunderer allows Iago to look after her weather-controlling amulet so she can have a holiday. But Malcho, a giant...
It's kind of like that one moment in Horton Hears a Who. Well, I mean, the Dr. Seuss musical, that was the only story for some reason for that musical.
He meant reliable in a deceitful, conniving kind of way.
In The Day the Bird Stood Still, Iago...
Oh wow, another little reference there.
After he uses tampered bath oils meant for the Sultan, supplied by crooked Abyss Mall. Abyss Mall. Abyss Mall. Abysmal? He's an abysmal bad guy. Oh, I get it now.
Really?
Ha! Iago bargains with Maul and his much shrewder henchmen. They'll hand over the antidote if he hands over the genie.
I didn't betray you! I only almost did!
In Poor Iago, the parrot goes insane after a pleasure overload when he finally breaks into the Sultan's treasury. The haze of madness makes him want to spread riches to the poor rather than hoard them for himself.
Not really a bad thing.
The actor who played the Tin Man, Iago almost died from inhaling all that gold powder. Oh, the 2nd century. Such a primitive time for health and safety.
Try going for 3 weeks without sleep and see how you feel.
It's enough to drive one to the very brink of Scoodly Woodley Land! So anyway...
In Power to the Parrot, Genie gives Iago his powers after he tires of hearing him squawk.
That probably was a dumb idea for Genie to do.
Because I have one thing that you don't.
In my favourite episode of the Aladdin TV series, The Sands of Fate, the group try to save a pack of warriors.
Oh yeah, this is one of the episodes I do remember.
Each attempt resulting in one of our heroes accidentally joining the loop.
It felt kind of like a Twilight Zone episode, but in a Disney cartoon.
In Mission Impossible, Iago and Genie enter the lair of the Silkworm, as they have been tricked by another recurring villain claiming that silk is the only
And probably who is also another reoccurring character.
I am not under any circumstances going in.
The gold's in there.
Yep. Say the word gold, and he'll just go in there. It's like El Capitan from DuckTales. Gold!
He, Aladdin, and Jim Cummings must work together to save their town.
Hello, Iago. Long time no see.
Iago? I never heard of him. My name's Phil.
In Hero with 1,000 Feathers, the recurring mysterious Fedar tells Iago that he is the only one who can defeat an evil monster who shall soon come to Agrabah. Cowardly Iago passes the task on to Genie and flees the conquered city until his conscience convinces him to return.
You instigated one of the bloodiest wars in the history of Mesopotamia, just so you could corner the falafel market.
Hey, no one's perfect.
And if I haven't won you over with all those storylines, I do recommend this series. It's fun and exciting, boosted along with a great, though constantly reoccurring score, and every episode has at least one "the fuck were the animators thinking" moment.
You volunteered to do this?
Aladdin
Yeah.
and the King of Thieves went into...
Now we're finally talking about the third movie.
Jafar was completed, and was released in 1996. It was another direct-to-video sequel, and out of the 6 I've ever watched, I would say that this is the best, winning in categories...
It really is a good one.
Quality, song goodness, and remaining faithful to the original theatrical production, unlike say, The Fox and the Hound 2. Inspired by the story Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves, which is where the famous magical command...
Oh yeah, that episode of Looney Tunes gave also the other best line you can get out of that episode. Hassan Chop!
Also the leader of a gang of thieves, who interrupts his wedding to Princess Jasmine, and even has a showdown with our favourite parrot.
Meet your match, Zorro!
You have a lot of spirit.
Oh, ow, ow.
And a lot of mouth.
There was a very, very random glitch that happened there for a second. I don't know what went on there, and hopefully that doesn't happen again so we can continue on with the rest of the video.
Who accidentally activates the scepter containing a hologram that can answer anyone's one question.
Where is the ultimate treasure?
You have already asked your one question.
Oh, that wasn't a question. That was thinking out loud.
Very loud.
Robin Williams is back.
Pretty much.
Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, Robin Williams did come back to voice in this movie. Again, don't know why he didn't voice Genie in the second movie, but
and more importantly,
okay.
just who sent it anyway? As the orphaned Al has been pondering whatever happened to his pappy, he chooses that as his question, and Iago accompanies him and Abu, and Carpet, a character I've ignored until now, to find him.
He's a very big important character, though.
And the reason they didn't take Genie instead? Because he could have helped them out of situations like this.
They must all die.
Well, it's been nice knowing him.
And that would have shortened
Yeah.
by many minutes. After Aladdin passes the initiation, Iago
I mean,
seems to be
Aladdin had to show off his sword skills.
Father Kasim by literally perching on his shoulder. The reason being that he informs the protagonists about his so far unsuccessful quest to find
This
the
always
Hand of
pops up.
Midas, an item that can turn anything it touches into solid gold.
I'm rich! I'm wealthy! Yahoo!
Really?
Since June's birthday, Iago convinces his dad to come back to the palace so he can use the oracle as a sat-nav. The plan works flawlessly. Except they are immediately caught by Jim Cummings, and the Sultan sentences them to life in prison.
The Sultan always seems to like change his clothes colors or whatever.
Aladdin helps Kasim and Iago to escape because he's an angsty badass like that. But since
And coming in and swooping in to save him like Batman for some reason.
Going on a treasure hunt or being chewed up by rats in the jail cell.
Go with him, Iago.
You mean it?
Go.
Thieves have turned on Kasim and force him to take them to where the Hand of Midas is located, which he was going to do anyway, against Iago's preference. Thanks to parrot power, the bird gets back to the palace and warns them that Aladdin's dad's life is in danger. After the battle for the Hand of
Nice
Midas,
little Rambo
which
reference there
has
for ya.
involvement with, he decides to join Kasim on adventures of uncertain danger and likely living conditions resembling squalor. kinda goes against Iago's character for him wanting to do that, but I guess pals before privileges, or whatever.
You're a good guy, Kasim, but not too good.
And so Iago's story arc concludes with he and Aladdin's father disappearing across the same desert where he first made his debut.
Yep.
So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye, right?
The King of Thieves
Okay.
brought an end to Aladdin as a series, but its characters have appeared in...
So now we're getting into the Kingdom Hearts stuff. Oh, no, House of Mouse first, I guess. That makes sense. Sorry, I'm, like, trying to fix my foot because it's falling asleep.
Gee, I hope they're not lost. We are so lost!
Calm down, Iago. Mickey won't replace us.
Gee, now who can replace them?
But on most
Yeah, he pretty much would.
Iago was paired up with Jafar, as if the Aladdin sequels had never occurred. Naturally, he is more famous for being a villain's sidekick than an anti-hero, and this flip-flopping was referred to in one episode.
The singing? Ah, that's just a little thing to pay bills between sidekick gigs.
Yeah, you're doing this. Seriously?
He would also provide a smidge of comedy to Jasmine's section in the 2007 direct-to-DVD movie Disney Princess Enchanted Tales.
What?
As a heterosexual male, everything about
Yeah, that's probably another, like, straight-to-DVD Disney film.
It's almost as bad as My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. The parrot also appeared in a few Aladdin video games, aiding the genie in the comic relief sorely needed for Aladdin's maths quest,
Oh, jeez.
and providing a checkpoint service in one of my favourite yet decidedly tricky to play PC
Okay,
games,
he's talking about the PC version.
The only time he ever spoke in that game was in that one level where you played as Abu.
Okay, Abu, you need to rescue Aladdin.
Oh yeah, it is Gilbert Gottfried that came back to voice the character.
We'll be trapped with all kinds of trouble, so be careful.
Along with the other characters from the Aladdin series, Iago appeared in the anime Disney crossover thing that was a game.
I wonder if he knows that Kingdom Hearts is getting a fourth installment.
In the original Aladdin film, and its sequel, Kingdom Hearts 2, included the plot points of Return of Jafar. Of course, you can't actually play as Iago in the game, and what's this? Half of the cutscenes...
Yeah, sometimes the game does that.
Ooh. Next thing you know, they'll start hiring other people besides Gilbert Gottfried to play the character.
How many peasants do we have to...
Oh yeah! The Aladdin Broadway show!
Well, that was inevitable. The two noteworthy stage versions of Aladdin that at least feature Iago amongst the cast are Disney's Aladdin, a musical spectacular, and Aladdin. The first one was...
Yeah, I forgot there was another version. There's actual multiple versions of the Aladdin story in Broadway form, or in musical form-ish.
While the second first hit the stage in 2011, and has been performed all over the English-speaking world. They each closely follow the plot of the film, though the Disney-produced one is naturally the more faithful. But while the Broadway show lasts for a standard 2 hours-ish, the Disney site attraction lasts less than an hour, depending how much ad-libbing the genie crams in.
Is the dress white and gold or blue and black?
Yeah. Genie likes to ad-lib.
50% of the film gets left out. Iago is played by a giant hand puppet in Disney's production, whereas in the Broadway show they made the sensible choice of just having him be human. Makes sense, and I don't know why they didn't just do the same with Abu, instead of omitting the character. He could have been a mute. Or just
I have no
really
idea.
bad at speaking English. Or Arabic. Since the show has yet to be recorded, the only way to see
yeah.
how the new actor playing Iago does
That completely makes sense.
is for me to spend about £50 and go to see it in London. Well, I'd be tempted to if, altogether now, Gilbert Gottfried was in the play.
Alright, there you have it, guys. That was my reaction to the Iago character chronicles thing. that really is the title, Iago Character Chronicles. It definitely was interesting. Some funny stuff you got to hear from the other things, and all about Gilbert Gottfried and how raunchy he can be. Again, rest in peace, Gil. He will be missed. He honestly will be missed, because he was a comedic talent that really couldn't do much wrong, except for... Anyway, with that being said, thank you all for watching this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell to never miss a new video. And with that, I will see all you awesome guys and gals later. Bye-bye!